What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers, and I want to talk about the TRM Neutron 2 and why it is in my, I want to say, top 3 favorite knives. It's way up there. Especially this version. This is the lizard skin textured titanium version. There's a lot of different handle scale options for this knife. This is the one that I own right now. Actually, I own my Carter one as well. And for obvious reasons, this one is my absolute favorite. But almost everything in this video is going to pertain to any version of the Neutron 2, no matter what the scales. It is going to get points for having some of the best texture I've ever seen on titanium. But everything else, I have 10 points here. And the other 9 points are, regardless of what the scales are, it's going to apply to any Neutron 2. So, let's talk about it. Number 1, the size is perfect for EDC for me. These are all for me. I'm not going to make general terms. For me, this is a perfect size for EDC. We have almost exactly a 3-inch blade with a little less than that for actual cutting edge. Perfect. I don't need any more edge than this for regular EDC tasks. I can even get away with a lot less. I carried a 2-inch blade for a week, and that was totally fine, completely fine. So really good size. The way that they do the ergos and the choil is it's a very open plan kind of thing. You can be back here, or you can just slide up a little bit and be right super close, right up behind that edge, right where you want to be, really easily. And there's no like big defined spot. So you can be really choked up, kind of not choked up, way back here, wherever you want. Very comfortable wherever you are. When I'm all the way choked up, I have even a little extra handle. So I wear like a large medium, on the larger side of medium, sometimes a large, depending on the glove. So if you have bigger hands than I do, you'll be fine. And if you have really big hands, or you just like a larger knife, a lot of these things are going to apply to the Atom as well. It's pretty much the big brother of this knife. So keep that in mind too. And it's mostly the blade stock thickness. And I'm going to say this again. You can sharpen an axe sharp enough to cut paper really nicely, but it's not going to go through cardboard well. It's just too, you'd be forcing this huge thick thing through the cardboard. So behind the edge thickness is not as important as blade stock thickness. So very thin, going to slice super duper well. Next, it's USA made. That's awesome. That's not a requirement for my EDC knives, but most of my favorite knives are made in the US. It's just like it's cool. I like it. I like carrying around a knife that says USA on it. It makes me feel better than one that doesn't. Number 4, excellent customer service. A great group of people that are behind these knives, making them and interacting with the customers. And they really support us as a knife community. They very commonly will give out knives to YouTube channels to give away to their viewers. They sent me a brand new Atom when I was a much smaller channel. Well, not much smaller. I think it was a couple thousand subscribers ago. They just sent it to me and said, hey, we'd like to give you this so that you can give it away to your subscribers. So we had a great giveaway. One of my subscribers won the Atom, and it was really nice of them. And they've done that with a few of my other friends too, for their channels. So they are behind us as a knife community. They listen to feedback. They're just really in touch with the knife community, which is so cool. I feel like some knife manufacturers these days are more on the business side of selling knives. They're not really in the wanting to make a knife that is for knife guys. So that's awesome. If you have any problems with your TRM, send them an email, see what they'll do. I had my atom was slightly off-centered, and it always was ever since I first got it. I noticed it when I first bought it, but I thought, I don't want to send this back. I love it too much. I'll just whatever. But 6 months, 8 months, 9 months later, it started to bug me a little bit. So I contacted them. They said, send it in. Sent it in, got it back, perfectly centered, no questions asked. There you go, fixed. Next, extremely smooth washer action. This is on phosphor bronze washers. And look at this. Couple shakes and it's down. I mean, it literally falls to your finger on washers. It is so smooth, man, and it only gets smoother. This is a relatively new knife, and it's already a lot smoother than when I first unboxed it. So I can only imagine how smooth it's going to get in 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line. Just luxuriously smooth. I mean, it's really crazy with zero blade play, completely solid. So that's just a sign of really good craftsmanship. Next, great ergos. We talked about the handle already a little bit, but the way that the handle is designed here, there's a bit of a palm swell in the middle. It gets thinner up here for your pointer finger to wrap around, either choked up or a little farther back, and it's just great, man. It's really, really good ergos. They have scales that are contoured and some scales that are flat, depending which one you get. Another cool thing about the scales is they are very easily interchangeable. Check this out. You just pop out these two screws here. Don't even worry about the pivot. They are T6s. Pop that one out. Pop that one out. Bam. Scale lifts off. Pivot goes right through. Still a functional knife. Super cool. So you could even have like a micarta on one side and titanium on the other side. You could mix and match. You can really do whatever you want. If I want to go take and hard use this knife, but I don't want to scratch up my nice titanium scales, just pop them off and slap my micarta ones on for the day. Really cool. Really, really cool. And there's a lot of really interesting scale options that they've released over the years and still do. They've got like tech wood, micarta, different carbon fibers, marbled, G10s, all kinds of stuff. So that's a really cool thing. Next, it's a great clip. Now the clip on the Atom is different than the clip on the Neutron. This is the original clip. Now when I got it, it was really it was bent out further. It was even thicker than the knife itself. And I don't know if they all come like that, but I actually kind of flattened mine down a little bit. Got it at least a little bit closer to the surface of the scale. Just personal preference, that's how I wanted it, and it works amazingly. And it worked amazingly before too. It's just enough lip to get under your thick seams, or however thick your pocket seam is, it'll go under them. Deep carry, just sits really nice and deep in your pocket, and doesn't cause a hot spot either. Sharpening choil, kind of one and the same as the choke up area as the sharpening choil. Look at that separation between the thick part of the plunge grind and the end of where the edge ends. So much room here. So sharpening is going to be very nice. You're not going to worry about banging into the scale corner or anything like that. Just really, really nice and roomy choil. And then my last point is the absolutely insane lizard skin textured titanium milling pattern on this knife. This is just straight up unbelievable. It is so beautiful. I'll put in some footage right now, some close-ups. But it's bonkers, man. You can tell the pattern gets smaller and smaller as it goes down toward the back of the knife, the butt. And down here, it almost fades into nothing. You can still see it if you look very closely, but it is so cool, man. You just sit and stare at this thing. It's unbelievable. If you look at it under a microscope, not a microscope, I haven't done that, although I want to. But I was looking at it with a magnifying glass recently, and it is so fun to look at because you can see each individual little, like, because, you know, there's a very tiny end mill that's making these, and you can see the little, like, lines of it, of the milling happening inside this texture. So it's just, it's so beautiful. It really is. I can't think of a better texture that I've ever seen on titanium. So, yeah, that's a big win. So, those are 8 or 9 points on why I think this is one of the best EDC knives ever made. You could pick one up for whatever. I don't remember how much the micarta ones are. They are not overly expensive. This one's in MagnaCut. I'm not sure if they completely switched to MagnaCut or if they're still doing some 20CV. My Atom is in 20CV. So, I don't know. Both perform really nicely. Their 20CV is really good. And their MagnaCut seems very good too. This is more new. I haven't had as much time cutting with it, so we'll see. But so far, so good. And that's it. I love you guys. Like the video. I'll see you soon.